Welcome everyone to the channel. My name is Jessica M. Harris and we are super pumped and excited to have you join me today. This channel is all about keeping you encouraged on your journey of faith, love, life, and truly everything in between. So let's get started. By the way, I'm a podcast producer, I'm an author, I have my own publishing company, and I'm also a transformation coach for faith-driven women in Christ who are ready to break down barriers, rediscover themselves, and truly walk in their God-given purpose. So, if that sounds like you, I want to encourage you to go ahead and get connected, sign up for an empowerment call today, and join the Igniting Your Glow community so you can continue to be inspired and encouraged on your faith walk journey. Let's get into today's episode. So, y'all may have already saw the post that I did last night that said Deuteronomy 31:8, and it says, "Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord will personally go ahead of you. He will be with you and he will neither fail you nor abandon you." Listen, that verse truly inspired me when I was reading it yesterday, and it was reminding me so much of a journey that I had recently that I felt pressed by the Lord to share. So here is the testimony of how God will truly go ahead of you. And it says, being a believer in Christ means that there is going to be moments where you're going to have to step out on faith, and you may not always know what the next step looks like. Sounds familiar? Talk about a Peter moment, right? When he was walking on water. Listen, something similar to that happened to me most recently. I took a road trip and I had everything planned out except a place to stay. Now, the old me, like before the faith walk journeys done took place, before, the moving to Texas done happened, before all of that, I would have been looking like, whoa. We not leaving nowhere until we have a place and this, that, and the third already set forth. Well, let me tell you, the new me, the new and improved me, the one who done been through some things and gone some places with God, has now been able to witness him move so swiftly on my behalf that I'm okay with taking an opportunity to being able to increase my faith. So when I went on this journey with God, this road trip recently, that's exactly what I set myself up for. An opportunity to build what? My faith. So after a day's worth of travels, I started to get tired. Now, y'all heard me talk about driving to Texas from before. That was over 30 hours, and there was a grace to do it. I didn't stay at a hotel. I didn't stay at an Airbnb. I didn't stay at a friend's house or nothing like that when I made that big drive across states. I just kept driving, right? But in this case, for this particular road trip that I was on, I didn't feel that same urgency. I didn't feel that same nudging that I needed to keep going. Instead, I actually felt God telling me, it's time to rest. It's time to rest. It's time to rest. And I kept feeling it. But as you already know, I didn't have a place to stay. Let's keep going. So I decided to take some time and pull up some hotels on my phone to see where I was and where could I stay that possibly was nearby. Well, let me tell you, your girl here tried. I tried to pick a place. I went through the list of hotels. I went through I didn't go through Airbnbs. No, I just looked at hotels. So I looked at hotels that were near me. I was going through the list. I was looking at the prices. I was looking at the rooms. And before I could even get to like the booking page, I promise you, every one of those places, it felt like a nope. And I'm sitting here like, all right, God, we done drove too far to go back, but I'm not quite at my destination yet either. So what am I doing here? Now, prior to me looking at the hotels at this moment, on the way while I was driving, I did pray. And my prayer was very specific. And I said, God, I would like a bed to sleep in tonight and a place that is safe. I do not want to have to sleep in my car. Although I can sleep in my car, I really don't think that is the way or that is the will that you have for me for this travel. God, may you please get me to a safe place with a bed. That was my prayer request. That was what I was saying in the car to God. And let me tell you, God listens. He listens. Because I promise you, All those places that I tried looking at on my phone and I kept feeling like a no on, I looked at God and was like, all right, I made my request known, what I wanted. The places that I am looking at, I have not gotten a green light for. Not by a long shot. So I can only believe that there must be a different place. Like, that's it, right? In my mind, that's it. Because like I just said, I can't go back because I done already drove too far. I can't keep going because I know that God is calling me to rest. So it simply must not be where I'm located. I probably am not in the right spot for the rest that I'm supposed to be getting. Peep game here. So I continued to drive. I got back on the road, got back on the highway, and I kept driving a little further. A few hours later, I sat there and saw this big sign that said lodging, and it had a list of different hotels that were in the area. And I was like, all right, you know what? I don't feel anything wrong about me jumping off at this exit. So I did. Let me tell you, if you have felt like the peace of God before, then you're going to know exactly what I'm referring to. I promise you, I was driving on the highway and I was fine. No problems, no issues. But the moment I jumped off that highway, it was like the peace of God done smacked me on my head and it just overcame me. And I was like, wait, what? I don't know. That's the best way I could word it. It just felt like the Holy Ghost, like just his peace. It just came upon me. And I was looking like, where am I that there's just this much peace? Like, what? And it wasn't no like crazy area. It was a busy town for sure. They had like a lot of food spots and stuff like that and a lot of different hotels. But it just, I don't know, it was something different about the way I felt. Like, I just felt like God's presence was literally here. Like, I could just feel his presence. Like, he was there. Like, he was just there. That's all I can say. He was there. So I was looking for signs for the hotel and I was looking like, all right, well, where can I go? Like, I know I saw a sign for a hotel. So where are they? So I remember I made this turn and I got to the hotel. I pulled up in front of it and I walked into the lobby. And as I walked into the lobby, y'all, the same peace was there. And not only was the peace of God there when I walked in the lobby, but I literally had to say out loud to myself, like, yo, I think this is the peace of God. Like, I think God is calling me to rest here. I don't know. And it was crazy because I wasn't that far from my destination. But again, I didn't have a place booked, right? And by this point, we were nearing midnight. So I needed to really just like tap out and go to bed, get some sleep and whatnot, so I could be refreshed for the morning. But when I tell you, all I could sit there and do was like, yo, God, I think this is you. Like, it was just baffling to me because I don't know. You know how like something happens so unexpected? Like, I know my prayer request to God was that he gives me a place of rest and that it would be a bed and that it would be a safe place. And I know I've witnessed God do this before for me, especially when I was in Texas, hands down. But it was something about the peace that I was feeling just then. Like, I don't know. It wasn't a peace. Like, I felt God's peace before, but this felt like different. Like, it felt so heavenly, but I was awake. Like, what the... Y'all, that's the best way that I could word it. And let me know in the comments if you understand what I'm saying here. Because if you don't, I don't know. May God give you the same peace so you can understand how it feels. Because I'm telling y'all, it was like, what? Oh my goodness. Anyways, yes. So I remember going ahead back to the staff people at the desk and telling them like, all right, I'm going to stay X, Y, and Z. And I promise y'all, it was like the smoothest transaction ever. So much so, here's the kicker, that they didn't even charge me for the incidentals fees. Now, for those of you who have gone to hotels, they have you pay the incidental fees. They put like a hold on your card or whatever. Maybe you put like, if you do it on cash, they hold your cash, they give it back to you. And those fees can be like $150, $200, $250, $300, etc. Right? They didn't even ask me for no incidentals. And your girl here wasn't even about to chime in about it. Listen, I ain't asked, they ain't say, therefore I figured God had me. Y'all, you have to hear me on this one. Like, only God could allow me to find a place. And, okay, I forgot about this part. So I have to mention this part, right? God allowed me to find this place while I was driving. But peep game ×2. It wasn't even on the list that came up on my phone when I was looking earlier. Now, one of their sister locations was on the list, but I did not feel the grace to go there because I already seen it earlier when I was looking at them, because I had asked him, I said, what other locations y'all have, and he mentioned one of the ones that was on the list, and I was like, that's one of the ones that God told me not to. Okay, so I couldn't go there, but I feel his peace here. It's that concept of 1 + 1 = 2. Jess, you couldn't go to that one, but you feel his presence here. So what are you gonna do? Stay where the presence of God is. So that's what I chose to do. And it's so crazy to me because I'm telling y'all, I didn't even see this location on the list. I didn't even know that this town even existed. Nonetheless, it was a very small town. They said so. They said they are a small town. But what in the world? Y'all, God knows. He knows. So I have to go back real quick to Deuteronomy 31:8, which we just read earlier. Because it tells you, don't be afraid and don't be discouraged. For the Lord will personally go ahead of you. And he will be with you, and he will neither fail you, and nor will he abandon you. Let me tell you, he did not forsake me on this travel. He didn't abandon me. He literally brought me to a place that was literally, I feel divinely set up by him. And not only was I able to get a good night's rest, but I got some hot food. Y'all, that food was banging. I was like, what in the world? They had a burger joint that wasn't that far up the road and whatnot. And their food was fresh. They made it right in front of you. And I'm just sitting here yo, only God could set, I don't know, it just felt like the ultimate setup. Only God could set it up in such a way that made sense. Y'all, I promise you, the people there were the sweetest. They were the nicest. And again, this is pushing midnight in this time. And the people there, they were wide awake. They were very cheerful. They were very kind. They were just very loving. And just the love of God was just with them. You can just feel just how loving they were and how much they really put into their work that they do. You could just see their work ethic. Y'all, because I've been to some hotels where people look they seem lazy. They seem like they all done. They trying to tap out, or it's the night shift. And that's not what I got here. Y'all, that's not it at all. I got the people who was really oh yeah, do you need anything? We got you. Are you squared away? Do you need any help with this? They were so willing to help you and just do things. They were just beyond above kind. It was just amazing to me how God won't only just set you up in the right place, but you'll also encounter the right people on your path. Come on, y'all, that's nothing but God. I'm telling you what I know. So anyways, I remember waking up the next morning, and immediately when I woke up, the first few thoughts were just yo, God, I thank you. All I could feel was thank you. Thank you for bringing me into safety. Thank you for going ahead of me. Thank you for already having a place for me in mind. Thank you for allowing me to get there and to rest there. Y'all, I woke up and I was so well rested that I knew it was truly nothing but God that allowed me to be able to find that place of rest and to be there and to experience it. And it truly was an experience, y'all. It was an experience. Now, I want to pause here in this story right quick because I want to encourage all of you, realistically speaking, any of you, right? Whoever who has the ears to hear and the eyes to see what the Spirit of the Lord is speaking. Listen, know and trust and believe by faith that when God is bringing you to a place, he will nudge you in the right directions. He says in his word that, listen, our steps are ordered by the Lord. That's Psalms 37:23. He will order your steps. He will get you to where he is taking you. And sometimes you're not going to necessarily see the step in front of you. I didn't see the hotel in front of me. I didn't see the place that I was supposed to stay at. I legit didn't even see the town on my map. Come on now. I didn't even see that. But yet God knew. He knew where I was going. He knew when I was going to get tired. He knew the place that I was going to feel his spirit. He knew that I would know the difference of where there was a no versus where there was a yes. He already knew, and his nudgings were there along the way to guide me in the process. So when you're feeling the Spirit of the Lord nudging you to do something or go somewhere, yes, you may not always see what it is that is up ahead of you, but know and trust and believe by faith that God already has it planned out for you. When I was creating my podcast relating to this conversation, what God was reminding me also was the story of Joshua in chapter 6 and beyond, because there probably is a few other chapters that are all tied to it. But anyways, in that chapter, or in those chapters, he was reminding me, like, listen, just like with Joshua, he was with them and he guided them and he led them and he told them, listen, these places I am promising you, the land of the east of this river and the that of this way, right? But all you have to do is show up. Right? And in their cases, they had to also contend for that promise. But God was showing them that I'm going to lead you exactly to where I need you to go. God is doing the same thing for you. Sometimes you just got to show up to a thing and watch God do what he do. Yes, in the story of Joshua, they had to also fight for it, but God did it and told them that they already had the victory. So I'm telling you right now, as God is launching you forward, as you're making those steps of faith, as you're moving in the ways in where God is taking you to, move in the fact that God is already giving you the victory. The victory is already yours because the path has already been made. The place has already been set up for you. It's already done. It's already completed. You're not having to make it work. God already worked it out for you. All you have to do is believe by faith and walk out on it and walk into it and walk through it and just do it. Like, y'all, I'm just saying, just do it. 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 Step out on faith. Take that leap. I'm going to go back to Deuteronomy 31:8. Don't be afraid and don't be discouraged because God has already personally gone ahead of you. He's already done it. Whether that's in business, your personal life, whether that's in you actually traveling and making a move for God, however it is, he has already done it for you. I'm telling you, he's done it. He's done it. So I hope that that is confirmation for somebody who needs to know that God already went ahead of them and whatever it is that they're looking for God to do. Let's continue. Whoo-wee. All right. So, okay. So here, and I already kind of alluded to this, so I'll just dabble. I'll go a little bit backwards on this part here. I felt led to share this testimony. And I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of different reasons depending on who you are and where you're going in your journey right now. Y'all already just heard me say that for those of you who may be moving or starting a business, God goes before you. So that is there. Y'all already know that God also wants to show us that he is a God who makes a way out of no ways. That's there. I also want to say that for those of you who are maybe in this hour of having to do a walk on water moment, trust in God that the plans that he has for you are for good and not for evil, but to give you a hope and an expected end. Jeremiah 29:11. I also want to remind you as well of Hebrews 11:1, where it tells us, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things that are not seen. Your faith is going to open up the doors that you could have only imagined. Your faith is going to get you to the places that God is taking you. Your faith is going to do it, like, y'all, your faith will take you there. Your faith. And God tells us in his word that we just need to have the faith of a seed of the size of a seed of a mustard seed in order to watch the things that we can do. Listen, God is increasing you in your faith in this hour. God is expanding you in this hour. God is nudging you and pulling you, and y'all already know he's stretching you because he's stretching me. He is stretching me, and I know he's stretching you too. So continue to let God do the great and mighty work that he's doing within you. Continue to allow God to use you. Continue to allow God to pour into you. Continue to allow God to go before you and may you walk it out. Like, y'all, we don't ever do anything on our own as believers. We don't ever go any place on our own as believers. Like, that's not it. We are not doing nothing that we do and nowhere that we go has ever been done solely by us without God. Like, God is already there. He has already gone before you. He has already paved the path for you. He has already spoken unto those of whom you need to go into doors of. Like, there are rooms that God is going to literally speak your name into the people's ears of before you even get in the room. God will literally